Hey everybody, we're sitting here with Anael and we're going to do an interview with her to learn all about how she met Samoiya, her involvement in Fire the Grid, the organizing that she did to help Samoiya bring her message all around the world, and how it became viral, and many other questions that we have from written down from all of you that we're going to ask her. And you can ask questions in the chat. Hey Valerie! Valerie's in the chat. Okay, so Anael, can we start with the first question, which
Yeah,
is,
we could, but you're not moving.
oh, I
You're
can see
frozen.
I can see myself fine here, so hopefully it's okay. Valerie, if you're there,
Okay.
can you tell us if we're frozen or not? This will be recorded and then we can upload it later. So if for some reason I'm frozen, it will be okay. Always these technical difficulties.
Well, yeah.
Okay, so so can we start with the first question, which is how did you meet Samoya?
I met Samoiya in 2005, in May 2005, during a conference that was lasting 2 weeks. So there was different conferences, and I was taking care of Dr. Stephen Greer, which is responsible for the Disclosure Project. And that morning, I was going to meet him to go have breakfast with him. And in the lobby of the hotel, Shelley was there with him, waiting for me. And the Dr. Greer said, do you mind if she comes for breakfast with us? I said, no problem. And she started talking. And as soon as I heard her voice, I said, oh my God, I know her. She's my family. I love her already. It was instantaneous, instantaneous recognition of the soul, I guess. And we went for breakfast, and she told us about her amazing story of um, two miracles, how she died and her son died, and everything else. Prior to that, 15 years before I met her, I'm a contactee, so I already had direct contact with ETs, and that's a whole other story. And it's really interesting. But anyways, I was talking to a friend. I was in a room on the side of her bed, and all of a sudden, this big, huge black screen appeared in front of me. We were talking. I was not meditating or anything like that. And I was looking at that screen, and nothing was moving. It was only black. And then finally, after maybe 5, 10 minutes, I could see a crest, a very dark gray crest. And I said, oh, it looks like a planet. Well, if it's not dead, it's dying, or it's pretty weak. And then I heard a voice saying to me, and he chose this planet to show his glory, with an ominous voice, and I was surprised because I'm not religious. I'm spiritual, but not religious. And then I saw on the side of this like planet uh, a light igniting, just starting to grow and grow and grow, and it became a big cross of light. And on the planet, I saw little dots of light starting to ignite, tick, 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 and going faster and faster and faster. And then it exploded, and it was so bright that I had to cover my eyes. And I thought, well, when I bring down my arms, they're gonna, like, this image is gonna be gone. But that's not what happened. When I brought down my arms, I was looking at a beautiful, pure, crystalline planet with wonderful pastel colors like blues and greens and pink. And it was so beautiful, so pure. There was no pollution, no negativity. It was like a crystal floating in space. And my eyes were crying from the sheer beauty of the image. I didn't have any emotion. It was just too beautiful. And then they said to me, we promise you your planet is going to look like that when we're finished with her. And I started laughing. I said, oh, yeah, in 200,000 years, I won't even be there. Come on, you're joking. And they said, no, 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 no. I said, okay, no, no. How long is that going to take? They said, an hour. An hour to do that? It's impossible. Absolutely impossible. They said, yeah, yeah. You're going to do this all together, and you're going to have help from outside. And then it disappeared. Then it vanished. And my friends were like this, like looking at me, like, what's going on with you? And I told her what I saw. And I was wondering, do I have to do something? Do I have to create an event? Like, do I have to do something? And I was asking that question for 3 years. No answer. So I put it on the back of my head and forget about it. And then I met Shelley, Samoiya, and she told her story to us. And then she finished by the same exact vision as me, in the same sequence of images, except that she was seeing a grid around that planet, and I wasn't. And she said, oh, I must have dreamed it. And I grabbed her arm, like, I've been waiting for you 15 years. You're going to give me your phone number and we're going to do this. And she said, no, 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 I mean, it's just my imagination. I said, I wasn't sleeping. I didn't imagine it that it exists. We're going to do this. And Stephen Greer said, I saw that too, Shelley. So I gave her my phone number and I started to call her, once a week. Once a week. When are we going to do this? And she was saying, no, 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 it's my imagination. Okay, so I continued to call her. At one point, she said to her, because she thought, she's crazier than me, she believes me. So at one point, she said to her children, stop answering her, because she's crazier than mommy. So she stopped answering me for 2 months. And then after 2 months, she felt guilty. So she answered the phone, and I said, before you hang up, Shelley, how can you not believe your own story? You have doctors, you have 8 neurosurgeons that came to see the miracle from all over Canada. You had people coming in the room, like hundreds of people, to help your child. And your child is there in your arms. You can hug him. You can tell him stories. You can sing to him because you followed the instructions of those beings. Don't you think you owe them something? And she said, yeah, you're right, eh? It's true. I should make an effort. And said, but I don't know what to do, Annie. I said, just sit down and ask. It's going to come. You cannot go over your will. You need to desire an answer or ask the question, and it's going to come. So she was getting more and more depressed, so I sent her one of my albums without telling her. And she received it at 10 in the morning. And she started listening to it, and the light being said to her, go in your bath and listen to it in your bath. So that's what she did. She went in her bath, and I had a song for Stephen Greer called Sky Scent Disclosure that you can find on the internet, Anael Sky Scent Disclosure. It's a pretty beautiful song that we did for the Disclosure Project. And then she started listening to it in the bath, and she was wondering, when is that song coming? It's the last one of the album. So as soon as I started singing, and I sing in Latin, so she didn't know it was that song, she had a ball of light starting to grow in her chest. And then 2 threads of golden light coming out, and it connected to a big spot of light up there. And then all the information, the colors, the symbols on the site, the 3 sections, the pictures, everything came in like that. And she called me after. And she said, she told me what happened, and she said, but the only problem is, Annie, like, we have to do this for free. And she said, explain to me why God is asking poor people to do something like this for free. And I said, maybe because we have to work together and just join together. And we were poor. We didn't have a lot of money. So we needed, and she said, who's going to build a site for free? I said, I know someone. She said, who? I said, the guy who did the music you're listening to. He does website too, Bradfield. So she said, well, I'm not very comfortable. I said, write to him what you just told me, and I'm sure he's going to be willing to do it because it's inspired by his music. So she did. She wrote to him a long email, and he started asking me questions. He said, does she know anything about graphic design? I said, no. She has trouble sending and receiving an email. So no, she doesn't know anything about that. He said, it's too precise, there's too much details. It has to come from up there. So yes, I'm going to do it. So he built the site. And for the, what do we call that? An hébergement. When you buy a space for a site, what do we call that
The
in
domain?
English? A domain. Yeah, we didn't have any money, and it cost $200. And she said, "How are we going to do this, Annie?" I said, "Well, I'm going to tell people about your story. I'm going to ask for $10, $20, $5, and I'm going to bring that money together. Maybe you should do the same thing." And she said, no way, Nova Scotia people are going to pay for this. I said, okay, I'll do it here. And I did gather half the money, and I give the other half from my own pocket, and we started it. And there was a forward letter. And, there was maybe 12 or 10 people a day coming on the site. And then this, Brad looked at it and said, well, if the light beings want to save the world, it's going to take more than 10 people a day. I said, yeah, you're right. But we did our part. I'm sure they're going to do theirs. And what happened is somebody sent the forward letter to George Norrie, and he read it, and he said, I want her on my show tonight. So he called her himself, and she said yes. And I remember that day because it was at night for us, because it's in California. And I listened to the show live, and it was amazing. Like, it was amazing. And then the next day, we had 60,000 people coming on the site. And there was so many people that we had to create another mirror site to be able to take all those people. And 3 weeks before the actual event, so we started in 2005. So it was July 17, 2007 at 11:11. 3 weeks before, we were at 750,000 people a day visiting the site, and they were reading all of it. So, and I had groups, like in 92 countries, we had 147 team leaders. We had 19 translators, because now it's easy. Like, everything is easy. It was all done by emails, guys. So we had thousands of emails, and we didn't have social media. It didn't exist. Facebook was non-existent. YouTube was starting. So it was just a labor of love. And yeah, 19 translators that did it for free. And we didn't ask for any money. So, and we gave 2 songs to help the project. And there was groups of 8 million, 13 million people. So I guess that we were between 20 and 25 million for that meditation. And it was the first ever World Rock meditation. And it was amazing. the energy was amazing. Every time we do this, it's great. It's amazing too because we really raised the and it was measured by Princeton University. We had a big uh, peak during the meditation in the down slope in their measurement, and then it was going down that day. So during that meditation, we had a big peak. So it was pretty significant. And I thought it was the last one. You know, it was only one, but that's not what happened.
That was back in
Like,
2007, right?
yeah, after a year and a half, and Shelley didn't feel so well. She fell sick at one point, like physically sick, and she had to stop everything. But people were asking like what was going on and did we fire the grid? But we did. We did because we were there talking because the earth was dying. So that was a good sign. But we had another one in 2009, 2011, and then 2019, 20, 21, 22. We had a few in between because there was events coming that we needed to tamper with. So they gave us another date in between to help the planet. So the goal is always to help humanity and the planet and make this beautiful paradise a paradise again, where people love each other and care for each other. And it's all a process. It's a long process, but it's worth it because at the end, we're going to be rewarded.
So, so you went all over the world with Samoiya, right? Like, didn't you guys go on a speaking tour?
We did in Europe, in France. We didn't go, as she did go to California herself, and I went to with Brad to France. And she came here in Canada. We did a few too. She did a few in Vancouver, and she did several in Quebec. So I was there to translate for her. Like she was saying her part, and then I was translating for the people there because they don't understand English, most of them. So and was very popular. She was very popular here. Like people loved her, and she's lovable. Like and she when she speaks, like you're hypnotized because it's so inspiring. Like I said to her, you were the most inspiring speaker I've ever met, you know, and I've listened to a lot. But you have ideas, you have she has solutions. Like they gave her solutions to our world, to our world problems, and yeah, that's why she's so inspiring because it's hang on, like here we can do this. You know, it's more active. It's not intellectual. It's really hands-on solving problems.
Yeah, exactly. She is such an engaging speaker, and that's why I think on TikTok, I think we've got 10 million views on the video where
Yeah,
she's telling her story, which
yeah.
is coming from the Vancouver speech that she did back then.
Uh-huh.
Can you tell us about your other role with Fire the Grid? So you organized it, you got her motivated, and you executed the whole thing several times,
Yeah,
multiple
well,
times.
I was taking care of all the emails, all the you know when she had interviews and stuff. I was making the link, uh, the translators, the team leaders. Like I was waking up at 6, and I was going to bed at 12 for 2 years.
Yeah, oh my
Like
gosh.
and between that, I was working full time and I was doing music with Brad.
And that's the other part that some of us don't know about is the music side and how you're involved with that. Can you tell us about the music for Fire the Grid?
Well, the music it was made not for Fire the Grid at the time, but what we discovered with Shelley or Samoiya, it was that within some of the songs, some album more than others, there was tones embedded in the music. And Shelley, when she died, they showed her how to interpret different tones, like it transformed into words for her, which were different than the text of the the song. So she was hearing something else, and but we didn't know when we did the music at all. Like we were surprised, and even Brad, when he was writing the lyrics, he was very inspired, and she was able to explain to him why he wrote those words, because sometimes it was like very poetic, but at the same time there was a message within explaining something. So it was pretty a teamwork between the two, and yeah, and she explained that the tones, like people may not hear the message like her, but they will feel it, and it will open their hearts. And
Right.
that's what people say to me every time they hear our music and my voice. They always say it calms me. Mothers with young children, usually it calms them a lot, and they ask for, to put the music on. And I drove mothers crazy sometimes because they were asking it every night for 2 years. Even my nieces had that, you know, problem. They were always wanting to hear the albums before they went to bed
Oh, that's
every night.
nice. That's nice.
Yeah. and
So,
and people who are stressed or dying, some people who were dying, they were buying my music to help them cross over, because I have the voice of an angel. That's what they say all the time. So it
mm,
calms them and helps them.
right.
Mm.
And is the encoding that you found out was later you found out that the encoding was in there,
Yeah,
but is it in your voice, in the music, or is it a frequency that you can't
it's
even hear?
it's both. It's the music and the voice together that creates that. But or sometimes it's just the music. Well, I guess Shelley wasn't really clear about that, but yeah, she says the magic comes from the two
Okay.
most
And
of the time.
and
Most
how
of
and how does the encoding assist people who are listening to it? What does it do to them?
It's really on a subtle level. It's really unconscious level. It's just the the body is made of silicon, and it resonates, and it has an effect on the organs and the spirit and the energy. Oh, she explains, for example, on she had um, the message to bring some songs together to create the Love and Light album. And they explained that the first song was to get rid of um, it's like to clean our um, energy field. It shakes it and it cleans it and makes it more, it opens the reception better. You have a better reception once you clean the energy field first, and then you receive more, and it hires your frequency as well. So that's why you become more receptive to subtle message from your guides. Some people, I have maybe two women that wrote to me and told me that they were hearing the message like Shelley.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So, but most of the people, just the resonance of the music has this effect. And it works too.
Very cool. Okay.
Yeah, but we didn't know anything. We just
At the
discovered.
time. When did you find out that it was encoded music?
Well, after the first time she listened to it in their bath.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. Because you guys had made the album previously, or the
Yeah,
songs were
yeah, we
compiled on
did. We
different
did in
albums?
2002. So it
Oh,
was
okay.
2005. So 3 years later.
That's
So yeah,
interesting.
we didn't know anything.
That's the same year that she drowned.
Yeah,
Wonder,
exactly.
wonder if there's a
No, I never
synchronicity there.
that I didn't make the link.
Yeah, wow, that's wild. Okay.
Mhm.
Valerie says that she experiences a sense of elation when she hears your music, and And we've got some people coming in from Singapore. We've got people from, hi, Andrea. We've got
Hi, everyone.
Kate and Grace.
Singapore.
I think both Kate and Grace are from Australia, and Brigitte is here from Brazil. Hello, everyone.
Hello,
Hope I'm keeping
everyone.
track of where you're coming from correctly. Andrea asks, which music do you recommend for cleansing and protection?
Light and Love.
Light and
Yeah,
Love, the album or the
yes,
song
the album.
itself? The album.
The album.
Okay, great. And you can get that at aniel.net.
Net.
Okay, yep. So
ANAEL.net.
okay, great.
Well, you can put the link at the end
Okay, yeah,
under
I'll put the link in
under
the
the videos.
description. Yep,
Yeah,
yep. Okay, awesome. Yeah, everybody in the chats, please feel free to ask questions. I've got a little list of questions that we've compiled from people, from some Farther Grid fans from the Facebook page and the Telegram page and everything.
yeah.
Brigitte
But I have
says,
to tell
so,
you something that Light and Love, there's many people who wrote to us that had spontaneous healings from things that they had for years sometimes.
oh,
So,
wow.
yeah, just listening to it in the back,
Yep.
they had that effect.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah,
A question that I've got written down that I don't have a specific person because I got this question from several people over
yeah.
the last few months,
Okay.
which relates to that is how do I heal someone if there's someone in the family?
How do you heal someone? You just have to, you can pray for them, but praying is sending good, positive energy to the person. Uh, you have to connect first to the source. Connect yourself, ground yourself first to the earth. Like imagine a root going down the earth to her core, and then connect up to the universe and bring that energy through you, this light, golden light energy through you, through your heart, and send it to the person. That's it.
That's great.
Simple.
That's great, and that's really specific. And it's nice to have a different way to heal aside from the other ways that Samoya has shared, like with laying of hands on Evan and the carnelian circles, which is on the YouTube channel too.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
back when you guys were doing Fire of the Grid, you were getting people talking to you about how they also use the same techniques to heal people.
Yeah, we've been asked that, like from some people, and we told them to do what she's been told to do, like having people transferring energy to the body of the person. And Evan, it was here in his chest and his forehead
Oh, I
for
didn't know
about
that.
20 minutes. They were transferring energy. And I'm saying this, you have to connect to source and never use your energy directly.
Oh, okay. If you're
You
healing.
become a channel from up there because you're going to deplete yourself.
Right. And is that why at the
That's not
time it was
the goal. The
only,
goal is to heal.
yep. Because at the time when she brought people in, she said she never told them what they were doing. She said just talk about what's joyful, but she also limited it to 20 minutes.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
that's why.
Well, they limited to 20 minutes not to deplete themselves and talk about something joyful that they love, like boats or driving or having a good car, a nice ice cream or sex. There's a lot of people who talked about sex to Evan, and he was four. But anyways, that's something joyful for them, and the doctors and the nurses couldn't talk about his case in the room. Nothing negative in the room. Everything was positive, and everybody followed. That's a miracle in
Yeah,
itself.
it
The
is.
doctors, the nurses, everybody followed, and there was people day and night for 3 days waiting to go and transfer their energy to the child. People she didn't even know.
That's
And every
amazing.
time she talked about it, she's crying because she's touched. It's total stranger came to help. And after 3 days of that, she came in the room and it was smelling very bad. And she asked the doctor, "What's that smell?" And he said, "Well, his intestine is are liquefying and going through his diapers." And she thought she was a horrible mother. And she went out the room, and he said, usually we disconnect people like this. So she went out, and she was hammering herself like, I'm a bad mother, I make my child suffer. And at that time, her mother, so the grandmother, Evan's grandmother, was beside Evan, and she was talking to him and holding his hand. And all of a sudden, she saw the color of his skin change. She saw uh, the liquid that were coming out of the machines, like filtering everything. They turned from blood to transparent, and then he opened his eyes, and she yelled, "Shelly, come! Your son is awake." And she said, I didn't see the floor. I was fine. And I opened the door, and he was sitting in the bed, and he had the student, and he was intubated, so he couldn't talk. And she said, "Do you recognize mommy?" And, "Is my name Sheila? Is my name Joanne? Is my name Shelly?" So, and the doctor said, "Oh, he's going to be a vegetable. He won't be able to go to the bathroom alone. Like, he's mainly dead." And she said, "I don't want to hear you. He recognized me. He's okay." So she went and, took her in her arm, and started to sing for him. A week after, he passed. Oh, 2 or 3 days after, he went to poop on his own, and then so his intestine were. Oh yeah, and he had bruises and a burn from the electroshocks, and it was all gone, and he smelled like a new baby. So it was instantaneous. So a week after, he was okay, like every organs were okay. 3 weeks after, he was back at home for Christmas. And there was a woman saying, "I'm going to pray for your child." She said, "I don't want anyone to pray for him." I said, "Oh, but wait. Tell your God that he won't have my son." Oh, Shelly, she's something. I really love her.
Yeah.
So yeah, and but during all that time, the time like people were going in this room, she was seeing a bucket, an old bucket of wine in shine. I don't know in English. Anyways, in wood, old wood, like
Right.
very old bucket of wine, and she was seeing a blob of silver, something very like yucky in the bottom, and she felt that it was the life of her son. And every time people came in the room, she was saying light, color light going in and filling up the jug, and it was turning, but they were not mixing. The color stayed intact, and they were spinning, and it went up to the edge, and yeah, finally woke up.
That's right. And didn't she say that she was seeing in the vision a styrofoam cup? Like it was
Yeah,
styrofoam? Yeah.
styrofoam cup.
So interesting.
Yeah, yeah,
One by
yeah.
one.
Oh,
Oh, that's so cool. Um, Roy from a Telegram asked, is there any way to measure our frequency?
oh, I think there's uh wait a second. Let me see the name in English.
Okay.
The French, so nothing that is shy. Wait a second. Uh,
A Hawkins scale somebody wrote down. I think that is the book that
nothing. Le Cher antenna? Le Cher antenna? I don't know.
the share
But
antenna.
that's another, that's a way, it's a kind of a device. It looked like a ruler, but at the end there's two little. branches, and you can measure with that.
Right.
Otherwise, there's I think it's called GDV device, but that's kind of expensive. It's a Russian that invented that, and you can do diagnostic with it, but you can see the energy field too. Korean pictures as well.
Right.
You can
Yeah.
see the energy field. Other than that, just being joyful, your energy.
Yeah, and there is a simple scale, the Hawkins scale die in the chat says just typed up that word, and that is one of the books that Samoya recommends. I forgot the name of the researcher. Oh, somebody says Bovis meter. I
Yeah,
don't.
Bovis meter
Oh,
too.
okay. Yeah,
Yeah, you can test the vegetables and fruits and stuff like that. Yeah,
right.
and people.
Yeah, everybody in the chats, feel free to ask any questions. I've got a few more here that we can ask Annie, and I'd love to ask Annie about your own experiences too, because
Um,
you've had your own experiences, even like long
oh yeah,
before you even had the
oh
vision
yeah. It
15
started
years
at
before you met
6.
Samoya.
I started at 6. I saw my first spaceship at 6. It was a gold, metallic gold ship in broad daylight. There was no uh, clouds or anything like that. The sky was completely clean, and this crossed the sky, and I could see the sun reflection on the engine. It was really a beautiful gold. And then it stopped in the air. When it stopped, I felt a connection. There was no word said, but I felt a connection. And I started asking myself some very philosophical questions at 6. Like, where do we come from? Why are we here? Where are we going? I was pretty, started to be weird at that time. Never stopped since. Even for weird people, I'm even weirder. So, but I'm a good person anyway.
Weird is good.
Yeah.
And you've got experience with your own guides, or would you call them light beings,
Yes.
or what are those
When
about?
I felt pregnant from my child, I started to have weird, very weird dreams. And then I had a friend who was hearing her guides. And one day I meditated with her, and she said to me, "My guides are saying that you you connected a while ago." And at 18, I did a test. I I was meditating twice a day for about 20 minutes, 20 30 minutes. And I was thinking I would love to connect with those space people. And I said, well, they're very loving. And, telepathy works like a radio. So you have to tune in. So I said, okay, so they're very loving. What's the most intense feeling of love a human can have is when he's in love. So I said, okay, so I'm going to fall in love with them and I'm going to send them that frequency. And I did, but I never thought they would answer me. And when they did, it was so intense, Celia. Like you cannot imagine. Words can't explain that. They can't. You have to live it. But I felt like I was going in my bed like this. I felt like an electricity, but no pain, but electricity going up my arms first and then my chest. And then I felt like it was so intense. And there were more than one, there were many. And it was so loving that I said, that's enough. That's enough. I can't take it anymore. It's too much. It's too much. Stop, stop. And then when they stopped, I started crying because I never felt that kind of love ever. And I thought, oh, maybe it's a fluke. Maybe it just imagined that, imagination. But I did it 3 times. I tested it. So it worked. But I noticed at the same time that because I was in a kind of a dysfunctional family, there was a lot of fighting. It was not very harmonious. And it was getting worse when I did that. So I stopped. I said, I won't do it. I'm going to wait till I'm alone because I can't take more of this disturbance. So I stopped completely, and I couldn't do it anymore after. And my friend came in and said that to me, and I never told anyone, no one. So I was like, okay. And she said, you have to reconnect because they need you. You have a mission to do. And I said, I'm trying. I'm not able to. She said, continue to try because they need you. Okay. So I tried and tried and tried. And finally, I did it again. And they said, you're going to be, it's going to become like a second nature. At the beginning, it was so strong. I had to lie down to be able to take that energy. And it was very often, like every 2 days, like they really trained me very fast. And I said, at the beginning, I couldn't take it. It was, I said, it's too far fetched, it's too out of my capacity to absorb. It took me a year and a half before I accepted what was happening to me. And I believed because I was doubting a lot. And doubt is kind of an open door for the other side.
Right.
Doubt, fear, anger, they love that. So they grab you by your weakness. So you really have to stay zen. You really have to stay on your heart and in love and don't think about anything. And nothing nothing bad can happen to you if you're in the love vibration. Nothing. Like
Hmm.
they can try, but if you stay stoic and you stay on your heart, they can't touch you.
Yeah.
In fact, they take your energy to hurt you. So you don't want to give them anything. Just stay loving and caring and joyful. They can't, grab you.
Right. Stay on the light side.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I have a question from
yeah.
Valerie. She says, have you seen ETs themselves?
Physically, no, but I've seen one of my ET friends send me a. It was so funny. She said, "I'm going to send you a picture." Okay, so I was waiting for a picture in the mail. you know, of course it was not coming. And one day I was lying down on my couch, and then boom, I got her picture here, and she was beautiful. Like ETs are not ugly; they're not. They're beautiful, and she had very big eyes like this and violet eyes, and she had dark hair, like black hair, and they were like a shampoo ad, like beautiful, shiny, perfect hair, straight hair. And she had a little nose, a little chin, a beautiful, very discreet mouth, like beautiful lips, but small. And she was looking like this at me. And I had that it stayed for a while. I could really describe her perfectly. And I started laughing at myself. Oh, I was waiting in the mail. How stupid.
That's
Well,
so,
you don't know anything. I was 25 at the time.
yeah. Well, you were just figuring it all out. I have a question about the light being topic. Does everybody work with light beings? Like, would everybody have one, do you think, or several,
Okay,
or
what they explained to me was because the beings that contacted me are creators. Okay, and they explained to me that at birth we have a connection with one of them, and he give us his own taste and tendencies. Like my guide was a doctor, so I was directed in the healing and the supplement and natural remedies field, because he was a doctor. Psychologist, same thing. They they just transmit who they are, and in our brain we have that connection that is constant. At one point, though, I had achieved what I was supposed to achieve in the learning curve from him. So he said, "I'm done my work with you." It's like I was losing my mother. I was crying. I said, "Don't go, don't go." But yeah, so he had to continue evolve, and I had to continue evolve. He said, "You won't be alone. You're still gonna have guides, but you won't be connected like this anymore because you know enough." Because they taught me a lot about spirituality, a lot, like in my everyday life for 7 years. So I learned a lot, and it's very simple. But when I read about Buddhism, that's what looks the most like it.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, yeah. So the universe is holographic. We're a reflection of each other, and we're in this kind of, it looks physical, but it's energy. Everything is energy. So it reflects what you have inside, and what your soul wants to learn. You're going to have what you need to learn and grow. It's all, and Dolores Cannon talks about it a lot. And she's a great teacher in that. Like her explanations are pretty accurate and amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very cool. Kate has a question about the Ascension, but before we go in that direction, because that would be a great way to wrap this up, um, Andrea asked, could you draw her? Your being that you had the vision
No,
of.
I'm not good enough
You're
in
not a good
drawing. I'm
draw.
sorry.
To get like a court court draw artist to to draw
Yeah,
it for
yeah,
you.
something like that. Because no, I'm not. No,
Yeah.
music, yes. Drawing, not too much.
Um, can I ask a quick question before we talk about like the shift? And I get this question a lot, like, and
Yes,
especially in TikTok. It's about what does Jesus have to do with all of this? Is Jesus connected?
Jesus has to do everything. Jesus takes care of the earth, and he is one of the greatest masters we have here. So, and he's very important, and his teachings are still very important because he talk about love, unconditional love, compassion, caring for others. What's wrong with that? Nothing's wrong with that. We like respect the differences. Like, was he here for? He helped who? Like, he didn't help the Pharisees. He helped the one that needed him the most: the sick, the poor, the yeah, great teacher. I really love him.
Wonderful. Um, okay, so now let's move on to this question. Kate has a question saying that hearing from different sources that the move towards ascension is dramatically accelerating.
Yeah.
Any comment about that?
A comment about the acceleration?
And that it's dramatically increasing.
Yeah, it is. It is. So, stay in your heart, stay confident. We have help from our friends of the stars, our guides. There's no difference between our guides and ETs. And there's different levels too. This ETs are very, very advanced and spiritually. So for us can be guides. And they said to me, because when they talked to me the first times, they explained to me that they present themselves the way we are comfortable. Because I asked them, why don't you tell people who you are? And they said, no, we respect you. We respect your rhythm. And if you're more comfortable with Jesus or Buddha, or we present ourselves, or an angel, we present ourselves the way you're comfortable. Because what's important is you do the job you have to do to help your planet. That's all they care about. to help us grow spiritually and take care of this planet that we live on. Yeah.
So the Fire the Grid work that you guys did back in 2007 and 9 and 11 were so important. And then recently we've done sort of several in a row
Yeah.
in this
Mm.
last year. So this
Yes.
has been a really critical year.
Yeah.
Um, Samoya's talked about the shift and how moving into the fifth field can look like one of many different ways. She's not even sure if everyone will experience the same thing, but she talks about rainbow bridges and portals and a mothership coming and one is taken, one is left. There's all of these things. What do you think will happen?
I don't think anything. I think what's important is to, because they explained to me even 30 years ago, even if your world collapses, we want you to be happy, which means you create your own reality. So whatever happens around, and that stayed with me all my life, whatever happens around, stay and be happy because this energy is going to have an impact on the rest. If enough of us stay in that high frequency energy and we continue to grow it between each other, we can make a beautiful shift to a paradise again. So that we have to concentrate on that positive. Because whatever happens, we create what's gonna come.
Right, and maybe that's the key as to why it's still
Yeah.
not really decided yet. Maybe we're still creating it.
Yes, we are.
Samoya also talked about how the shift to the fifth field would be could be gradual and that we wouldn't notice it. And recently she said something like she thought that it would happen, and then about 5 days later we would kind of go, oh, something is different, and then we would notice that we have kind of like moved into that new way of being, and that she
Yeah,
talked about being like more aqueous.
but the reality is we don't know
Yeah.
because we don't know what we're gonna create. So it's not very important.
Yep.
The important thing is we're doing the work now.
Yeah.
We're creating now, and we see the separation between people, between, we see the planet, the systems are collapsing, the old systems, and it's normal. And we should be happy about it because we don't need that old system anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And we cannot change it. It's too advanced in the destruction. So just focus on what you want to see in the world. Just focus on that. And surround yourself with people that are thinking the same. Because there's not a lot of us, but there's enough. There's enough. We need 8,000 people to train to do the switch. 8,000. Because each and every one of us have an influence of 1,000 others that we didn't even know. So we can do this.
Yep. That's great. That's good. Good advice for the time period that we're waiting. So we know that we're waiting until the next fire of the grid. We're pretty sure the shift to the fifth field won't happen then. I don't know how gradual it's going to be after that. Will it be months or years or what will happen?
Or
But
maybe it's going to be instantaneous. I don't know. But it's not important.
I know, and that's the key that
That's
you
the
keep saying.
future. The future. We're creating the future now.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the beauty of the whole fire the grid message for me is that the concept of us going through a dimensional shift into a new field of being is actually so like challenging for me. I'm kind of like halfway there. I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. I would like that if that happened. But but if you just distill it down to the messages that the light beings brought Samoya in the very beginning was be joyful because you're exponentially powerful, and I believe that 100%. So, I mean
That's it. That's it.
that's
Like we make the change inside of us, and the holographic universe is going to respond. That's it.
yeah, right
Hmm?
on.
Simple. So next meditation, February
February
21st,
21st. 3.
2023 at 11:07.
Yes. And there will be the opportunity for people to gather together for the Joy Fests
Yes, do.
On the third
Hmm.
Sunday of every month. If you want, make it 11:11 a.m. and you could be with. We could have a rolling wave of Joy Fest all around the world, or just whenever it works for you on that Sunday. And there's light
Hmm.
brigades that are being formed. I think that there's several light brigades that are coming together and are meeting weekly or bi-weekly to use their exponential power of their small groups. So, and then we
Hmm.
still have the thing of trying to fire the grid every day for 5 minutes. I have a,
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
to-do thing in my phone to remind me to do that.
Yeah. And I have to tell you guys and girls, Celia is doing an amazing job, and she worked a lot to make all this happen. I'm not very good in social media because I'm too old now. But she's been amazing. She's been an amazing support to the project, and I'm very happy to have her with us.
Thank you so much, Anael. That
And also Greg that created the
I
song.
know Greg has been doing
Greg,
such a wonderful job.
yes,
The brains behind the website.
yeah,
So yeah, thank you everybody so much. Thank you, Anael, for answering our questions. Maybe we'll
you're
come up
welcome.
with some more and catch you later on an interview like this. You said that they taught you things for 7 years, so uh,
Yeah, but
that's
it's
quite a lot
close
of
to
info.
my everyday life, so I'm using it mostly to help people that are in bad situation or psychologically, I have tricks. I learned a lot from them. Yeah,
That's
I'm
great.
very grateful to have learned those beautiful lessons with them directly. I was lucky.
Thank you. Okay, everyone, we're going to sign off. Thank you, everybody, for joining and for asking questions. And we love you all. And go have fun.
Yes, go have fun. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.